Tom was a simple man. He lived alone on a small desert planet called the Stora. The planet had no trees, no rivers, and no animals, only red sand, strong winds, and old alien machines buried deep underground. Tom worked as a mechanic. He fixed small robots and sold parts to space traders who passed by once a week. One hot morning, while digging near the edge of an old alien ruin, Tom found something strange. It was a metal container, shaped like a bottle with soft curves and silver marks. It looked different from anything he had seen before. It was smooth, cold, and gave off a quiet humming sound. He wiped the sand off and looked closer. There were no buttons or openings, just strange symbols on the side. Tom tilted his head. "What are you?" he whispered. Then, without warning, the container began to glow. A soft blue light came from the marks, and the metal started to shake. Tom dropped it in surprise and stepped back. The container floated in the air and slowly opened with a soft click. A bright flash of light came out, and a figure formed in front of him. It was a woman, but not like any human woman. She was tall, graceful, and wore silver robes that moved like they were part of the wind. Her skin had a soft golden color, and her long dark hair floated gently around her shoulders. Her eyes were large and calm, like twin stars. Tom stood still. He didn't know what to say. The woman looked at him and smiled kindly. "I am Lena," she said. Her voice was smooth, calm, and clear. "You have released me from my container. I'm bound to grant you 3 wishes?" Tom blinked. 3 wishes? Like a genie? Yes, she nodded. "Long ago, my creators made me to serve whoever opens the lamp. I can shape matter, bend time, or give power beyond your dreams. Speak your wish, and I shall make it real." Tom scratched his head. This was strange, even for Destora. He looked at Lena again. She stood tall and proud, but there was something in her eyes, something sad. She looked tired, like someone who had waited a long time in silence. "Wait," Tom said. "You're forced to do this?" Lena lowered her eyes. "Yes, I was made by ancient rulers who no longer exist. My body may be strong, but I am not free. I must obey whoever holds the lamp." Tom looked at the container lying on the sand. It was small and shiny, but inside it had trapped someone for thousands of years. He thought for a long time. Most people, he guessed, would ask for money, ships, power, or planets. But Tom wasn't like most people. He had lived a quiet life. He had fixed broken things and listened to the wind. And now, for the first time, he saw someone who wasn't just a machine or a travel. He saw someone who needed help. He looked back at Lena and said, in a steady voice, "I wish you were free." Lena stared at him. For a full minute, she didn't speak. Her eyes widened slowly. Her mouth opened slightly, but no words came out. Finally, she whispered, "You wish to set me free?" Tom nodded. "You've been locked up too long. You deserve to choose your own path." A strange sound filled the air, like music and wind mixed together. Light wrapped around Lena's body. Her silver robes glowed bright, and the marks on her skin slowly faded. The air grew warm, then calm. Lena closed her eyes. When the light faded, Lena opened her eyes again. She stood in silence and touched her chest. The invisible chains inside her mind, chains she had felt for thousands of years, were gone. I am free," she said quietly. "You broke the link. You used your first wish." "For me?" Tom shrugged. "Seemed fair." Lena looked confused. "No one has ever wished for that. All who came before wanted power, or to rule, or to live forever. Well, I just fixed things," Tom said with a smile. "And you look like someone who needed fixing." Lena stared at him for a long time. There was no fear in his face. Greed. Just calm honesty. She had seen many kinds of people in her long life, but never someone like this. "You are a strange human," she said softly. "I get that a lot," Tom replied. Lena stepped closer and sat on a rock. She looked at the sky. "I don't know what to do now. I've always had a master, always had a command. Now I have silence." Tom nodded. "You can stay at my place for a while. It's not fancy, but I've got clean water, a chair, and some good old music." Lena looked at him with wonder. You would welcome me, even after I told you what I am? You're not a tool, Tom said. You're a person. Everyone deserves kindness. Lena smiled for the first time. It was small, gentle, and real. And so, that evening, a former genie and a desert mechanic walked together under the red sky of Destorawan, learning freedom for the first time. And the other glad to have made a new friend. Lena sat quietly on a wooden chair inside Tom's small metal home. The room was simple. There was a table, 2 chairs, a sleeping mat, and a few machines along the wall. The air inside smelled like old wires and warm bread. A soft radio played. Music from Earth's low, peaceful, full of feeling. Tom poured water into 2 cups and handed one to Lena. She held it with both hands and looked at the clear liquid, like it was something magical. I don't remember the last time I drank anything, she said softly. In the lamp, I didn't need food or water. Time didn't move the same way. Tom sat down across from her. Well, here, we eat, drink, and sometimes just sit and listen to music. Lena took a small sip. The cool water touched her lips, and her eyes widened in surprise. It tastes real, she said. Tom smiled. That's because it is. For a long while, they just sat. Lena looked around the room, touching objects carefully. A spoon, a book, a small music player. Every item felt new to her, even though they were old to Tom. What will you do now? Tom asked. Lena thought for a moment. I don't know. I've never been free. My thoughts were always guided. I followed commands, not choices. Well, Tom said, you're free now. You can learn, explore, or even build something new. Can I help you with your work? She asked. Tom raised an eyebrow. You want to fix broken machines? She nodded. Want to try something normal. Something real. If I stay here, I want to understand what it means to live like a human, Tom agreed. All right. Tomorrow. I'll show you how to fix a broken cleaning bot. It's not exciting, but it'll keep your hands busy. That night, Lena sat near the window and looked up at the stars. Her thoughts were quiet, but her heart felt full. For the first time, she wasn't someone's servant. She wasn't locked in metal or waiting in silence. She was just Lena. The next day, Tom gave her a toolbox and showed her how to use a small wrench. This robot here is called Spot, he said, pointing to a round cleaning bot. It's supposed to roll around and clean the floor, but it stopped working last week. Lena looked at the robot. Why is it called Spot? Tom chuckled. It used to leave spots on the floor instead of cleaning them. She laughed softly. It was a warm sound like music in the morning. Let's fix it then. Tom showed her how to open the robot's back panel. Together they looked at wires, gears, and tiny circuits. Lena watched closely, asking questions. Her fingers were gentle, but precise. She learned quickly. After an hour, she tightened the last screw and closed the panel. Try it now, she said. Tom pressed the button. The robot beeped, then rolled forward, cleaning as it moved. Lena clapped. It works. Tom smiled. You're a fast learner. Lena looked at her hands. I've created stars and storms. But this, fixing a simple bot, feels more real. In the days that followed, Lena helped Tom repair more machines. She learned to cook simple food, fold clothes, and even fix a broken water pump. She didn't use her powers. She wanted to do things the human way. Tom noticed the change in her. Lena, once a floating figure of great power, now walked with calm steps, spoke with care, and smiled more often. She was learning how to live, not just serve. One evening, Tom played a video from Earth on his old screen, showed forests, oceans, and birds flying through the sky. Lena watched closely. This is your home world? Tom nodded. Yeah, that's Earth. I haven't been there in years. It's beautiful, she whispered. Tom looked at her and said, maybe one day I'll take you there. Lena turned to him. I would like that. There was a pause, and then she asked, you still have 2 wishes left? Why haven't you used them? Tom leaned back. I'm not in a hurry. Besides, I already used the most important one. Lena looked away, but there was a small smile on her lips. Later that night, Lena stood outside the metal house. The red sky of Destora was filled with stars. She closed her eyes and let the soft wind touch her face. She didn't feel like a genie anymore. She felt like a person. Tom came outside and stood beside her. Can I ask you something? He said. Of course. When you were in the lamp, did you ever dream? Lena thought for a while. No. Inside the lamp, there were no dreams. Only silence and waiting. But now, I think I'll start dreaming. Tom nodded. You're free now. It means you can have dreams of your own. Lena looked at him and said gently, Thank you for setting me free, Tom. Welcome. You're welcome, Lena. As they stood together under the stars, a quiet bond began to grow between them, not of magic or power, but of understanding and kindness. Lena, the ancient genie, and Tom, the humble mechanic, had found something rare on a dusty world far from Earth. They had found a beginning. Days passed slowly on Destora, but they did not feel boring anymore. Lena was now part of Tom's quiet life. She woke up early, helped with repairs, made tea, and sometimes just sat with him on the roof of his small home, watching the sky. Lena enjoyed learning. Every small task felt special to her, cleaning solar panels, fixing broken fans, or even cooking stew in the evening. Each time she did something with her hands, she felt a small happiness inside. It was different from power. It was something new, Peas. Tom watched her with quiet interest. At first, he had expected her to leave once she was free. She was not from this planet. She had once lived among stars and great empires. But instead, she stayed. Sometimes Tom would tell her stories about Earth. We have rain there, he said one night. Real rain, water falls from the sky, hits the ground and smells fresh and clean. Lena closed her eyes. I want to feel that someday. I want to stand in the rain without being afraid. Tom nodded. One day we'll go there, I promise. Talked often about the past, about stars, and about dreams. Tom learned that Lena was not created by magic, but by science. Long ago, an alien empire had made her and others like her to serve their rulers. They used special technology that gave her energy, strength, and knowledge. But they also made sure she could not say no. She had no will of her own. They locked our minds, Lena explained softly. Even our thoughts were watched. I was not allowed to want anything. Tom looked at her with sadness. That's not right. She smiled. It's in the past. Now, you changed that with one wish. One afternoon, they worked together to fix an old weather drone. The drone had not flown in years. Lena opened its broken wing, and Tom cleaned the wires. You're getting better at this? Tom said. I learn fast, Lena replied. Do you miss your powers? She paused. Sometimes, but I don't want to use them unless I need to. When I fix something with my hands, it feels more real. Tom laughed. You sound more human every day. Lena looked at him with a thoughtful expression. That makes me happy. After the drone was fixed, they watched it fly into the sky. It buzzed gently and turned toward the mountains. That was a good job, Tom said. Lena nodded. Thank you for teaching me. Tom shook his head. You don't need to thank me. You're the one who chose to stay. I'm just glad you did. Lena looked down at the sand and said quietly, I stay because you don't treat me like a tool. You treat me like a person? Tom didn't reply. He just smiled. That evening, they sat on the roof again. Lena had made warm tea, and the air was calm. Stars above Destora sparkled like tiny lights in a great sea. Do you ever feel lonely here? Lena asked. Tom nodded slowly. Used to, before you came. Lena held her cup with both hands. I felt the same, even when I had great power. I felt like I was alone in a big universe, but not anymore, Tom asked. She shook her head. Not anymore. There was silence for a moment. Then Tom turned to her and said, You know, I still have 2 wishes left. Lena raised an eyebrow. Yes, I've been waiting to see what you'll do with them. Tom smiled. I'm thinking. I want to use them for something that matters. Lena tilted her head. Most people wouldn't wait. I'm not most people, he said. She laughed softly. That's true. The next day, Tom showed Lena how to build a small windmill. They used scrap metal and old fan parts. Lena enjoyed working with tools and using her mind in new ways. Look at us, Tom said. A human and a former genie building something. Together. We make a good team, Lena said. When the windmill started to turn in the breeze, they both cheered. Lena clapped her hands like a child seeing a toy for the first time. I feel proud, she said. You should, Tom said. You're doing all this without powers? Lena looked at her hands. I didn't know they could be used like this. Not to destroy or control, but to build. Tom looked at her with a gentle smile. That's the human way. We build things. We try, even when it's hard. Lena nodded. I want to learn more of your ways. Tom stood up. And let me show you something else. He took her to a small storage room. Inside were books, tools, wires, and a screen. He played a video of a festival on Earth, people dancing, laughing, and singing. Lena watched closely. They look so happy. They are. Life is hard, but they still find joy. She looked at him. You want to go back? One day, he said. Maybe I'll take someone with me. Lena smiled. I would like that. That night, Lena stood outside again. She looked up at the stars, feeling something new in her heart. She was no longer just a genie. She was a learner, a builder, a friend. She had no chains, no orders, no lamp. She had a quiet life, a kind man, and something new to hope for. For the first time in her long life, Lena felt human. The sun was high over Destora. Soft red light warmed the desert sand. Tom and Lena were sitting on a hill near the house. They had just finished fixing an old generator, and now they were resting. Lena looked up at the sky. Tom, can I ask you something? Sure, he said. When you talk about Earth, your voice becomes softer. Why is that? Tom smiled. Because Earth is my home. I grew up there. It's full of green trees, blue oceans, and sounds I haven't heard in a long time. Birds, rivers, rain. Lena turned her head toward him. It sounds beautiful. It is, he said quietly. I miss it. There was a long pause. The wind blew softly, and small grains of sand moved across the ground. Lena placed her hand on the warm rock beside her and thought about everything she had seen and learned in the past few weeks. Then Tom looked at her and said, I want to use my second wish now. Lena straightened up. You're sure? Yes, Tom said. I wish that you could come to Earth with me one day, not because of duty or power, but as a free person. Lena blinked. You wish? For me to visit Earth? Yes, with me. When the time is right. Lena stood up slowly. She took a deep breath and closed her eyes. For a few seconds, her body glowed softly, not bright, just enough for the air to shimmer around her. Then the light faded, and she looked at Tom. It is done, she said. What did you do? I made sure that no law, no machine, and no gate will stop me from traveling with you. When you decide to go, I will be ready. Tom smiled. Thank you. But Lena wasn't smiling. She was thinking. This was the first time anyone had made a wish not for themselves but for her. She sat back down. You could have asked to go anywhere, she said, or to be rich, or live forever. But you wished for a journey. With me. Tom shrugged. You've helped me more than you know. You helped me first, Lena said softly. You gave me freedom. That evening, Lena watched the old screen inside the house. She played videos of Earth that Tom had saved. Hey there! Were forests with tall trees, children playing in the snow, and people laughing under big lights at night. She touched the screen. I want to see all this. With my own eyes, Tom walked in, carrying 2 plates of food. You will, he said. One day they ate together in silence. The food was simple, just bread and stew, but to Lena, it tasted like comfort. Do you ever feel afraid? She asked. Sometimes, Tom answered, but then I remember life is about trying, not just waiting. Lena nodded slowly. I used to wait, inside the lamp. I waited for voices. Now I wait for stars, for wind, for rain. You're alive now, Tom said. Really alive? Lena smiled. No. Oh. A few days later, Lena started building something behind the house. She collected pieces of metal, glass, and wires. She didn't tell Tom what it was at first. Each day she worked for hours, using her hands, not her powers. She made sure everything was real, every part placed with care. One evening, Tom walked over and asked, "What are you building?" "It's a sky viewer," she said. "Simple one. I want to see Earth's sky from here." Tom looked at the device. It had a round glass window on top and a map of the stars inside. "When it's ready," Lena said, "we'll sit here and watch the sky together." Tom looked at her with quiet joy. "You've changed a lot, Lena." She looked down. "You helped me change?" That night, they tested the sky viewer. Lena adjusted the angle, and Tom pressed the button. The glass screen showed a beautiful star chart with Earth's sun marked clearly. "There it is," Lena whispered. "Your home." Tom looked at her. "Maybe it can be your home too." Lena's eyes were soft. She didn't answer, but she leaned closer to the screen. The stars above Destora shined quietly as if listening. Later, Tom asked her, "If you could wish for anything, what would you ask?" Lena looked at him. "I never thought about that before. I used to be the one giving wishes, not receiving them. Well, now you're free. You can wish to." Lena closed her eyes. "I would wish for time to live, to learn, to feel." Tom smiled. "That's a good wish." Lena opened her eyes. "Maybe I don't need powers anymore. Maybe I just need a good reason to live." "You already have one," Tom said softly. "You're here, you're building, you're dreaming." She looked at him. "And you're the reason I can." As the night grew colder, they sat by the small fire outside. The wind was quiet, and the desert was calm. Lena looked up at the stars again. This time, she didn't feel far away from them. She felt close like one of them. She had no chains, no orders, and no fear. She had a second wish given to her not for power, but for company. And now she had a new dream, to walk on Earth beside the man who believed in her from the very beginning. Destora was quiet, as usual. The winds were soft, the sky pale orange, and the machines in Tom's yard hummed gently under the sun. But something in the air felt different. Lena felt it first. She stood still near the windmill, her eyes looking far toward the desert hills. Tom was busy cleaning the solar panels when he noticed her frozen in place. "Lena," he asked. She didn't answer right away. Then she said, "Someone is coming." Tom stood up. "How do you know?" "I feel the movement of energy," she replied. "Ship entered Destora's sky a few minutes ago. A very fast one." Tom frowned. "We don't get many visitors here, especially not fast ships." Lena walked toward him. "I think they're coming for the lamp." Tom blinked. "But I don't even use it, and it's empty now." "They don't know that," Lena said. "To others, it still holds the legend of a powerful genie." Tom looked around his workshop. "Do you think we should hide?" Lena shook her head. "No, but we must prepare." That evening, a ship landed 2 hills away from Tom's home. It was black and shiny, with strange markings on the side. Tom and Lena watched from a safe distance. 4 people stepped out, 3 men and 1 woman. They wore thick armor and moved with confidence. One of them held a scanner and pointed it toward the land. "They're looking for the lamp," Lena said quietly. Tom sighed. "Looks like the old stories are still being told." "What will they do if they find out it's here?" Lena asked. "They'll probably try to take it," Tom said. "Maybe sell it. Maybe use it." Lena's voice was calm but firm. "They won't get it." Tom looked at her. "Are you sure you're ready for this?" "I won't use my powers to hurt them," she said, "but I will protect what's important." That night, they came. The strangers knocked on Tom's door. He opened it calmly. "Can I help you?" he asked. The man in front smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. "We heard a story. Special item was found here. Lamp from the old worlds." Tom kept his face calm. "Lots of junk on this planet. Not all of it is special." "You know you found the lamp," the woman said. "We're not here to waste time. Just hand it over." Tom crossed his arms. Even if I had it, why would I give it to you? The man's smile faded. 'Cause we're not asking. Lena stepped forward from the shadows. Her eyes were calm, but her voice was strong. He doesn't have to give you anything, she said. The strangers looked at her, confused. And who are you? I'm the one you're looking for, she said. But I'm not what you think. Group stepped back slightly. One of them whispered, Is she the genie? Lena nodded. Not anymore. I am free. The leader laughed. Then you're useless to us. Lena tilted her head. Am I? Before they could say anything more, the lights in Tom's yard flickered. The wind stopped moving. The machines behind the house turned off. Everything became still. I don't want to hurt anyone, Lena said softly, but you need to leave now. The strangers looked around, uneasy. The man lifted a scanner again, but it exploded in his hand with a small flash of light. Okay, the woman said. We get it. The group turned and left without another word. Their ship flew off quickly, leaving behind only dust and silence. Tom looked at Lena. You didn't hurt them. You just scared them. I only used a little energy, she said. Enough to remind them that power doesn't belong to people. Who want to control others? Tom smiled. I'm proud of you. Later that night, they sat near the fire outside. Tom handed Lena a warm drink. Well, that was exciting, he said. She nodded. ... But also sad. There are still people who see others only as tools. Tom looked at the stars. That's why what you did matters. Lena turned to him. Tom, should we destroy the lamp? Tom thought for a while. But maybe we should just hide it, deep underground. Somewhere no one will find it again, Lena agreed. I like that idea. Let it sleep. Let it be forgotten. The next morning they walked into the desert and found a deep crack between rocks. Lena placed the lamp inside, covered it with metal pieces and sand, then used her energy to seal the ground. It's gone, she said. Tom nodded. Now, no one can use it ever again. They walked back, home with light hearts. That evening, Tom placed a small note inside his drawer. It said, The lamp gave me a gift I never asked for a friend. Lena, standing nearby, saw him write it, but said nothing. Later, while they were sitting outside, Lena asked, Do you regret using your wishes the way you did? Tom looked at her. Not at all. One wish gave me freedom, she said. The second gave us a dream, Tom added. And the third? Tom smiled. Still waiting, but I think I might not need it. Lena looked at him with soft eyes. You've already changed my life, Tom. You've changed mine too, he said gently, as the stars lit the sky. They sat in silence, not afraid of the future, not worried about the past. They had faced strangers, protected what mattered, and proved that real strength doesn't come from power, it comes from kindness. The days on Destora passed gently. Tom and Lena's quiet life continued with small tasks, shared stories, and moments of calm. Yet deep inside, Tom often thought about his last wish, the third and final chance to ask for anything he had used. His first wish to free Lena. His second wish was for her to travel with him to Earth someday. But now, he wasn't sure what his last wish should be. One afternoon, Tom and Lena sat on a small hill overlooking the desert. The wind was soft, and the sky was painted with shades of orange and purple as the sun began to set. Tom turned to Lena. You know, I still haven't used my last wish. Lena looked at him quietly. Do you want to use it soon? Tom shook his head. Not yet. I want to think about it. She smiled softly. Sometimes the best wishes come from the heart. Tom nodded slowly. I feel that way too. A long time, they watched the sun disappear behind the distant mountains. The world grew quiet and peaceful. That evening, Lena prepared a simple meal. The smell of warm bread and stew filled the small house. They ate together, enjoying the soft sounds of the radio playing music from Earth. After dinner, Tom stood and said, Lena, I have a question. She looked up, curious. What is it? You want me to use the last wish for something? For you, Lena thought for a moment. I don't know. I want to live like a human, but I don't need magic to be happy. Tom smiled gently. That's good. But if I could wish for something, she added, it would be to stay by your side. Not because of a wish, but because I want to. Tom felt his heart beat faster. I want that too. They sat quietly, the room glowing with a soft light from the small lamp on the table. The next day, Lena and Lena went to the small workshop. Tom showed her a few old machines he was fixing. Lena listened carefully, helping when she could. Suddenly, Lena stopped and looked at Tom. You have something in your eyes today? Like you made a decision? Tom laughed softly. Maybe I did, Lena smiled. If you use your last wish, make it count. Tom nodded, then looked away, thinking. That night, as the stars shone brightly, Tom took Lena's hand. I think I know what I want. Lena looked surprised. Tell me, he smiled and said. I don't want to use my last wish for things or power. I want to use it for something real. Lena's eyes grew wide. What do you mean? Lena took a deep breath. I want to use my last wish to make sure you stay free, not as a genie or a slave, but as a person who chooses her own path. Lena's heart felt full. She looked down, then back at Tom. That is the best wish anyone could ask, she said softly. The next morning, Tom held the lamp carefully. He closed his eyes and spoke clearly. I wish Lena will always have the freedom to choose her own life, no matter what happens. A warm light surrounded Lena. It was soft and gentle, not strong or loud like before. She felt a calm strength inside, a power that was hers alone. Tom smiled and placed the lamp on the table. It's over now. You don't belong to the lamp anymore. Lena looked at him with tears in her eyes. Thank you, Tom, for everything. They hugged quietly. It was a moment full of meaning, freedom, friendship, and hope. Days later, Lena prepared for a journey. She packed a small bag with clothes and tools. Tom helped her get ready. You're going to Earth soon, Tom said. Lena nodded. I can't wait to see your home. Tom smiled. And I'm glad you'll be with me. They stood outside the house, looking at the stars once more. Whatever happens, Lena said, we face it together. Tom nodded. Together, as they looked at the sky, they both felt something new. It was not magic, wishes, or power. It was the simple, strong feeling of friendship and trust, and for Lena, the beautiful genie who once served, it was the beginning of a new life, one chosen freely, with a human friend by her side. The morning sun rose over Destora, casting soft golden light over the desert. Tom and Lena stood outside his small home ready for the journey ahead. Lena carried a small bag with her belongings. Her silver robes were gone now. Instead, she wore simple, clothed, soft fabric that moved easily with the warm breeze. She looked calm, happy, and free. Tom smiled at her. Are you ready? Lena nodded. Yes, I've waited a long time to see Earth. Tom looked up at the sky. It's a long trip, but we'll take it one step at a time. They walked toward the small shuttle Tom had fixed weeks ago. It was old and not very fast, but it was reliable. It would carry them off to Stora and toward the stars. As they climbed inside, Lena turned to Tom. Thank you for everything, for setting me free, for teaching me, and for believing in me. Tom reached out and took her hand. You don't need to thank me. I'm glad you stayed. Shuttle's engines hummed softly as Tom prepared for takeoff. Lena looked out the window. Watching the red sands of Destora fade away, the journey through space was quiet but full of wonder. Lena had never seen stars up close before. The bright lights outside the window made her feel small and alive. Tom shared stories about Earth, the forests, the oceans, the cities full of people and life. Lena listened with wide eyes and a smile. One evening, while watching a distant planet through the shuttle's window, Lena asked, "What will happen when we land?" Tom thought for a moment. "We'll find a place to live, to learn, and maybe to build a new life." Lena nodded. "I want to see everything. I want to understand what it means to be human." Tom smiled. "You already are," Days passed and the shuttle moved closer to Earth. Lena felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. The planet looked beautiful blue and green, full of clouds and light. When the shuttle entered Earth's atmosphere, Lena gasped softly. The air smelled fresh and the wind brushed her face. She looked at Tom with wonder. "We're home," he said quietly. Together, they landed near a small town surrounded by forests. The sounds of birds and running water filled the air. Lena closed her eyes and breathed deeply. "This is what I dreamed of," she said. Tom smiled. "And it's just the beginning." Over the next weeks, Lena learned many things. She walked in forests, tasted new foods, and met people who welcomed her kindly. She worked alongside Tom, fixing machines and helping others. People were curious about Lena. She told them her story simply about the lamp, the wishes, and her freedom. They listened with surprise and kindness. Lena felt happy and accepted. Genie had found a place where she could belong. One evening, Lena and Tom sat by a campfire outside the town. The stars above looked the same as on Destora. Everything felt different. Lena looked at Tom and said, "I never thought freedom could feel like this, warm, safe, and full of hope." Tom reached out and held her hand. "You earned your freedom. And now, you have a new life to live." Lena smiled. "I'm ready." Tom laughed softly. "Me too." They sat quietly, watching the fire, the stars, and the future. The lamp that once held Lena was gone, buried deep beneath Dustera's sands. But Lena was no longer a prisoner of power or commands. She was a free woman, a friend, and a learner. She was ready for the life she chose, and as the fire flickered and the night grew calm, Lena and Tom looked forward to all the days ahead together. The end.